You know,
Are you able to collect comparisons from other towns?
I was able to, and
You know, the titles are sometimes different and length of service. Some are part-time, some are full-time, but you do have those, or a question comes up of what is so-and-so a town.
yes, I did printed out some comparisons.
Okay, so we could ask you those questions.
Yes,
Did we get down specific to, like in the highway department, the various levels that they have under them? Or is it mostly the senior office?
senior officers. Kathleen told me she had that information,
Uh-huh.
that you guys did research on
You
it.
did? Okay, good.
So I don't have it with me right now, but it's something I could get from Kathleen and email to you guys.
All right. You have the floor, my friend. So, okay, well, I guess with any questions from what I proposed, and Lois, correct me whenever I'm wrong.
You know,
If you look at your real property tax for,
I don't know if they have the same.
okay, what's that, Lois?
I don't know if they have the
They
same.
don't have the same?
There might be.
You tell us what page number.
It is on page 2 of 3.
No,
You got a different one. All right, you want me to start somewhere else?
Start wherever you think you need to.
Well, what I wanted to indicate to you is that it's down this year from last year.
Okay.
What's down? The property tax, what the highway is being.
The
funded.
budget? Oh.
I did,
It's down
sorry.
37,000. Okay, that's even with the increase, the proposed increases.
Appropriations is 1,408,000. Revenue of 193.
Actually, we can look
No, that's not what I have in front of me.
Fund balance is 125 and the tax levy is 189,497.
I don't have that in front of me. I have my budget overview here. Do you guys have what I have?
What did it say,
Budget overview? Yeah.
You can look
I
on
have that.
page 10 of 12.
Hey,
to
Deb,
Yeah,
start-
10 of 12.
Yeah,
10 of
to
12.
start
Budget
the budget.
This
Uh-huh.
one, Mike,
Yeah,
gotcha.
we got last time.
Yeah, I gotta get to page 2.
Oh,
they printed out a comparison. I'll email it to
I
you.
got it, 10 of 12. Highway fund DD.
All right, so why don't we start there? Why don't we just start there? All right, first page. Okay, so I believe, you'll notice that I have it separated into, normally it is in just my 5110, which is a general repairs line. Okay, that's what we do most of our work with. Okay, that's basically a lot of dirt road. I've separated that now, and I started that last year. You'll see that there's 2. You'll see that there's 51104 and then 51104. Oh, it's actually the same on this thing, but
It's in that.
Well, one of them,
one is dirt roads. You see
one
it?
of it,
Yes.
the last number is 0.64,
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's double 0 to 6-4.
Yes.
Okay, so those I've reduced slightly this year.
Okay.
And why would you do that?
Because what we're realizing is that we have the capacity to deal with these are, a lot of this is basically your dirt roads. The other things are that what happens out of this first one here is that we use for fuel.
I mean, general repairs?
General repair,
Okay.
yeah, culverts. Okay, what I've tried to do is separate the 2. If we do a culvert on a dirt road, it's listed on a dirt road in your, and you'll see that in your, at every meeting, you'll see it listed on there,
All right.
okay? When I purchase materials, okay, it'll be listed as dirt roads. All right,
Yes,
as opposed to just the normal general repair.
the normal roads.
And Joe,
Yes.
Yeah,
number of miles
Okay.
on dirt roads in the town now.
28.9 I think now, I believe that number is wrong, and I'll tell you why. We measured Kennels Road.
It's about half almost, right? What we,
Yeah, it's about half, but I believe they're wrong. we measured Kennels Road one day, because it just didn't look right as to what the DOT had put down, and we found that it was almost 3/4 of a mile longer.
Kennels Road?
Yep. I think what they did is they measured either from Andrew Haight, took a left up to Kennels, didn't do the back side. I don't know how it was done. I just don't know. But that whole side from 44 to Andrew Haight at the intersection was not measured. So that'll come up
From
this year.
44 or from the bike? Or from the-
44 to
Sure.
Andrew Haight. 44 to Andrew Haight was not measured. So it's almost 3/4 of a mile more. So at some point this year coming, not now, we're gonna go out and try to measure them.
So if we're rounding up, we're saying there's 30 miles of
30 miles of dirt roads.
30 dirt
Yeah,
and what, 34?
35 of the blacktop. Which when we plow is basically, lane miles is from here to Westerly, Rhode Island.
Now, when you get into doing hard surface,
Under 30 miles.
like you just said, you were looking at doing shady down on a harder surface.
So it's a mix.
It'll be maintained as an classified as a dirt road.
Yes, however, it is not a scenic road.
Correct, understood.
Yep. Anyway, so I cut that slightly because I have money left over for the last 2 years in a row with that significant money. Okay, with that, and we're doing a lot of work.
Mhm.
So anytime I see I can responsibly, I didn't cut it by much, drop that, I do. As a matter of fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the only line that I increased was the salary line.
Okay.
You know, we'll get to salaries in a little while.
Yeah. So questions about
So
anything else?
that's nice, Joe. That's, that's, you're on top of it.
Now, the Killarn Road,
Mm-hmm.
we have some money towards that,
Yes, you do.
okay? And what about the ARPA line? What does EQ mean? Oh, she's not here.
Yeah, she's not, and I don't know the answer to that.
It's 0 now.
I know,
Yeah, but that's machinery.
but I don't know why the word ARPA.
5132,
Unless you've already spent the ARPA money.
no, this is your 2024 overview.
Yeah.
But she's probably waiting for the end of it. At the end of the year, so.
We received from her the last meeting,
Yeah, she
where,
told us.
where the ARPA money breakdowns were. And under purchase of highway trucks, she
Said 8,700.
amplified that. And then upgrade, that was it for highway was the, 200,000 ARPA.
Yeah,
And right now you got 8,700.
yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. I'm not sure why it's not listed like that.
No machinery unless you don't count trucks as machinery.
No,
No, okay.
no. No, our machinery line is our mechanics line.
Lois, under page we're working on, there is a qualifier called E/Q,
Yeah,
ARPA $0. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
ARPA monies. If you use any ARPA money.
But he's got 8,000 left from the trucks.
Yes, but until you use it. Then that's when it
Okay,
would
can it
get,
get
I would have to
listed
do.
once-
So this is for the period being reported, is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? I got you, I got you.
So that,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
if we use it,
It gets.
then
Yeah.
I would do a budget adjustment at
Yeah.
the meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
Increase the expense,
Yeah.
increase the revenue.
Yeah.
What is the EQ thing?
Equipment,
And down under snow removal PS,
Yep,
snow PS-PT. And it's 0.
yes,
Why?
that was part-time people that he was going to use and he's not.
Oh, we don't have to use them then.
no, we don't have to use them.
Because of
Well, because, well,
resources.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Why not?
Yeah, sure. I don't, I'm not arguing.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that it came to me, why would we have that in the budget when we have, additional help already available? And now, would be qualified in the budget, where last year I don't believe it was.
And under under accounting principles, you would still carry that line forward even though it's zeros.
We
Just
don't
in
have
case,
to,
just in case in future years you have to use.
Mhm.
I could
Yeah.
delete it and get it out of there if you want.
I leave it.
If you don't wanna see that line at all.
Employee might change, the number of employees might change, whether you have to have a PS line, so I would leave it.
I believe I
Well-
can keep the account number, but not have it in the budget, you know, it wouldn't show up on the budget.
I could leave it.
Well, that's another question for me. So we do have a PS line,
Right.
but it is not for overtime specifically. I mean, actually it is, but it, well, it is, but what I'm saying is that it's not, it's not for hired people for snow removal.
It's your current
Okay.
guys that get overtime.
And that's correct. Now, under the circumstance, normally I would not call someone in the daytime. Okay,
Right.
because normally everybody's there.
Right.
So I don't need anyone extra. But
But if they were to go beyond 4 o'clock, then you're booking them at overtime.
yeah, it's 3 o'clock, yeah.
Or
We started at 6:30.
So you're 6 to 3?
6:30 till 3.
That's one of the questions we were asking.
That's 8.5 hours, half hour for lunch. Which they're not paid for.
Okay.
Some of these burgers, I can't imagine how you can eat some of these things I see in a half hour. They do.
Well, you're in
It's
such
a
good shape.
sidebar. So also I believe, yeah, I did only a 3,000 reduction because I don't anticipate we've already gotten our salt. Last year, we were hit with a
Yeah.
15 or 16% increase in our salt. The county is, the one that, what they tell you in the contract is that they will make a decision, when it's worthwhile to rebid or revisit the salt contract. Now, last year, I think I bumped it 5%. Because I'm assuming that once you get into 7, 8, 10%, that they would rethink and possibly rebid. What I have since found out is there are not many choices
Yeah.
for this salt.
Provided you.
Yeah, there's not many. There's like 2, maybe 3 in New York.
Better open up a.
Did we use a lot last, I mean, I know a lot of like.
It's not much last year
Yeah.
because it looks like we use a lot because of the village's efforts, you know, so it's more than we would normally use, obviously.
You know,
It's managing that small shed
Yeah.
that is the issue. There are times, even in a winter like last winter, where it was not that bad,
right,
that I got guys coming down on the weekend.
Quarter inch.
I got guys, I'm close to being empty after a storm and of minimal effect. But if it's an ice storm, you gotta hit this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it freezes over, you gotta hit it again. It's not even the plowing effort, it's dropping the salt.
Do we know the percentage comparison of the tonnage that's used by the town, but also by the village?
Well, I can dig it up out of my storm reports.
So is it 2/3, 1/3? Is it?
No. I don't know that. It depends on the year, obviously. The village doesn't use sand. And they don't, this changed years ago, 15, 20 years ago, when they realized that what they were doing was basically filling up all of their catch basins with the sands. All right. No good. So they switched to just salt. So it has been a little bit more prolific over the years with the salt. And I can get numbers for you.
Do we do that liquefied?
No, I don't do any of that stuff.
Okay.
It's expensive.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I use calcium
all right, yeah.
I use calcium I use it in the sand.
Hmm.
I don't put it on the salt. Some people actually put it on the salt.
Right.
It lasts longer on the road, allegedly. We did use that stuff that, some guys sell. It's more of a syrupy
Like
type of.
grinder,
It
but-
worked very good.
Yeah.
It worked very good, but it was way too pricey.
Okay.
We used it one year and it was just too much. But that's when salt was $75.
That magic salt they call it?
No, it's called, I mean, they're actually product names now. It's not.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that's selling its name, so Magic something, everybody's Magic something.
Yeah, I buy it for the sidewalks.
Yeah.
For my building downtown,
Yeah.
so it doesn't need the sidewalks up, you know?
Yeah, the whole idea about this stuff is getting out on time. It's the
Yeah.
whole idea,
Yeah.
is getting out on time.
Joe,
Depending on the storm you got.
Joe, the state had, and I probably mentioned this before, you probably told me, but I don't remember. Did you ever look into the device that when the truck stops, the salter stops automatically, you don't have to shut it off?
Oh my God, it's worse than that. So there's actually, they. Now, I'm told, I don't follow them, but I have seen it. They actually have timers on their switches, the county. So they press that switch, they're going on, it drops off, it stops. And they're still going, and they're still on the road. And they'll go for a while and that road won't get solved. And then it'll come back on again, or they'll press it again, it goes for so long. This is all, you know, to save money, and I'll be very honest with you. Saving money for safety to me is just,
No, I mean, the point that I was making was that they had a big thing in the town magazine last year, or the year before. It said that the state saved so much percent on salt by putting these devices in, or maybe it was the county actually, that when the truck stops, like at a stop sign, the sander automatically stops, or the salter. And then as you take off again, it turns itself back on.
I turn mine on and off all the time.
Right, I figured the
All the
guys
time.
just switch them on.
All the time, because you'd see piles,
In the
and
intersection,
sometimes you do. Sometimes you do,
yeah,
sometimes they're
forget
very
that.
visible,
yeah.
but most of the time, yeah. When-
So not
especially doing,
necessary.
especially
It's
doing
like hitting the
intersections.
brake. I mean, you know when to stop.
Intersections are the big thing. Now you have it right in your hand. You don't
Yeah,
have to
you
press
just-
it or anything like that, but,
Yeah.
but the intersections are where you see most of that. Guys doing that, but you know, I'd like to know how they calculated that. You know what I mean? How they calculated that they actually saved anything, given the different storms of a different year. You know, the different temperatures, it just, I don't know how they could say that, but maybe. Could be. And we save, I'll tell you how we save, we can't fill our damn shed. Cause half of it's full of sand.
Right.
I mean, I'm kidding you, but still.
Does the village still have their shed back there? They
Sure
still
they
have it,
do.
don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. You just, it's all full of vehicles and equipment. But it most certainly is there. When did,
Why can't we fill their shed with
Huh?
our salt?
because they got vehicles and equipment in it. They put all their stuff away for the summer, that's full of equipment. I've talked to them about it, but you know, it's.
Because that would increase the capacity pretty good, right?
I think it's 300 ton. I think it's 300 or 200 or 300 ton, which is significant. But maybe it's 2, I don't remember. Tommy told me. But the whole idea is if you manage it, okay, but you'll get.
Well,
You
if
get
you
hit,
get
you get hit
back-to-back
with 2
storms.
storms, you get hit one on a Monday and one on a Thursday, you're in trouble.
which we did.
Because they're not coming Tuesday, they're not coming Tuesday,
Right,
and Thursday, that shed's gone.
yeah.
So it's about a 3-day turnaround when you call.
They're pretty good about getting here, it's just the
Where does
idea
it
that
come from? Where is it?
it comes
From
from,
the county?
oh God, I could tell you.
Up near Albany, isn't
Yeah, it's a little above Albany, yeah,
Above
Albany?
yeah, a little bit above. But it's not that, obviously, when the roads are, when it's snowing, you know,
Oh, yeah.
so, and these guys are now. One thing I forgot to tell you, and I'll just mention it, it's only $4,000. But I had that pole moved that we talked
Yes,
about.
yeah.
Remember when you guys were I finally got a good connection with, Cablevision, and he's been great.
Oh, so now you got a camera?
Huh?
Now you have a camera?
No, I'm talking about the Cablevision guys. You see all the Cablevision lines all over the darn town and every town? I finally got a good guy. I helped him out, putting up one of his pedestals. And we brought in some fill and everything, and he's been wonderful since, and we're getting all these lines of. I got a pole, set in one day, and, the guy came the next day and moved that damn wire. Cause they weren't gonna send, triaxles down anymore, cause they were hitting that wire when it was filling our shed.
Oh, I see what you mean. Wow. All right.
I've been there 30 years. But as the trucks got longer,
Yeah. Go up high.
yeah. All right. Let's see. All right, so I guess what I'm saying with my proposed budget here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lawrence. Is the real property tax levy less this year?
Yes,
So it's less this year than last year.
yes.
Okay. About 30 some thousand, is it? Let's see. 90,
Is 30,
31, 31?
somewhere in there. I'm not doing exact math here, but
No, I'm just
Yeah.
whizzing by
Yeah.
it, looking at it
Yeah,
quick,
yeah,
too.
Okay, so. What's the next topic? Salary?
Salaries, yeah,
Okay.
it's a big
What-
topic.
I don't have a problem with them.
I have a question, Joe.
Yep.
And we've discussed this over the last couple of years.
Yep,
The increase in salaries, I don't think anybody has a problem with, but even Gary, casually, all of us have been discussing, are baseline salaries competitive in the grander market so that if you age out with employees and you've got to hire somebody else in, are we able to competitively attract people to come and work at the town of Washington?
so recently we hired a guy, no name, who's been in the industry for 20 years previous, okay, to coming here. He didn't come here for the salary that we offered. He came here to finish his 10 years. He's of that age now, he's in his late 40s, that he wants to get that last 10 years. And I talked to him. And the wage that we offered, okay, is less than what Unionville offered for a recent hire. Well, it was a year and a half or 2 years ago. Okay. But we got him. And it was good. You guys have a decent healthcare plan here. You know, you got to take all these things into consideration. Yeah, absolutely. And also I wanted to mention too, that in 2 years, well, next year and 2 years after, your salaries, your high salaries, several of your high salaries are going to be gone. So the question now is, where do you start?
But that's a relative statement.
No, it is.
Over the next couple of years.
The others
automatically,
increase.
the universe increases.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but your big salaries are going to go down
Because of senior.
at starting point.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to be starting, and listen, I mean, there's all kinds of things I got going through my head. Do you have a mechanic? Do you keep a mechanic? A mechanic, we got a great guy now. He doesn't take the insurance, saves us money, what a mechanic with a family will cost you in 2 years, probably $170,000 because you're also funding the machinery line, okay, with $50,000-$60,000. So do you say, hey, let's farm this stuff out? Everybody in the shop can turn a wrench. We can get the trucks ready for inspection. We can do most of the work except for the heavy, I'd say brakes up. You know what I mean? I mean, we can put brakes on, but the idea being that where do you go from there?
Mhm.
You know, you've had this luxury sort of for years, and a lot of these places don't have a mechanic. Pine Plains doesn't have a mechanic. Unionville doesn't have a mechanic. I don't
Where do
think
they take their equipment to get fixed?
Well, there's
I mean,
juniors,
maybe your big trucks.
there's juniors, but there's a lot of places.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places. I mean, your smaller trucks, you know.
Oh, no,
You know,
take them to.
it's-
But you could take them.
It's the bigger trucks, juniors, and then there's
Yeah.
Fleet Pride now, it's in Pleasant
Yeah.
Valley,
Yeah.
Right,
you know, so there's places to do it.
Your staff currently demographically,
Mhm.
age wise,
Mhm.
how's it look? Is it on the younger side now? Is it on the middle
Well,
income?
they're all younger than I am. But, so, I would say, that's right, I would say your one, two, I don't think you're heavy on age, but you're closing in on retirement. Remember, retirement's 55.
Yeah.
So you're headed there. Now, some guys need to and will stretch it into 62. The mechanic will do that, but he's 60 now.
Mhm.
Another guy's gonna retire as soon as I can get rid of it. Another guy's gonna retire when the mechanic retires.
Mhm.
So that's a 2-year span. That's 3 of your highest salaries are gonna be gone.
So if you're projecting 3 years out,
2 years, I'm sorry, 2 years out.
should we be building the base so that in 2 years it is competitive because of the steps that would get that to that base, even though it's on the low end of the spectrum?
Yeah,
Should we start now to do that, which means you start looking at your base now?
yeah, I think the idea being that it depends on who shows up. You know, I've hired 3 people since I've been here, and each time I did 2 interviews. Okay, and like I said, and this time, I had a guy that I grabbed because he met every qualification that we had put out, okay? But the guy that didn't meet absolutely any qualification was still a good man.
Hmm.
But he was a good man starting at a much less price, but what is that number?
Hmm.
That's the question. It used to be $17 an hour for a laborer, okay? That's McDonald's money.
Yeah,
What are we seeing in the other towns? Do we have anything like that?
We just lost a guy last year. And we offered him, I think, 21 and change. And we lost him by $2. And then he immediately got a $2 an hour raise, a $3,000 bonus. Yeah. At the state, because they started to lose people, because these guys all of a sudden became, and I shouldn't say all of a sudden, they're
Other talented people?
well, it's more, they're necessary.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's gotta, they're not coming out of high school anymore.
yeah.
They're not coming out. You know, somebody with a CDL, this new guy got new, I say new 20 years, he's got a class A. Now I have 2 class A's, which is a tremendous help to us, because one trailer one way, one trailer the other way when we go out. Because otherwise people couldn't drive them. Not that they didn't mysteriously move anyway to
Do we-
the destination.
Do we have anybody interested in getting another class A? Any of the current people?
Yes, I think I have one that probably will.
Yeah, 'cause
He's
that's-
48, so he's got a ways to go. He'll be at 62 when he goes. So, yeah,
Besides retirement, we hold our people pretty long, right?
I don't see why, you know, it's,
We don't lose people.
I don't think you do. I think it's more, a lot of it is the old thing, I got a job, I'm staying.
Yeah,
You know, the tough thing now is you have no one that lives in this town,
that's true.
not one person with me, and Catherine. That's it.
Yeah.
And you know, you're required to, and I'll talk about that quickly about the end of the meeting, but you know, do we change our residency rules down the road? Do we give it to whoever's lives here, just because they live here,
No.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean, it's,
So they have to be qualified.
well, no, I think the idea is that they have to live here to be the highway superintendent or the deputy.
What are you talking about, your position?
Well, mine and the deputy position.
It's a resident requirement.
Right.
I mean, some towns have actually had to change their residency. I think the village did it. Yep. And I can see that, obviously, there's not a large, but the town, what's our makeup now? Is our makeup guys that drive trucks?
No.
No.
So how did you structure the raises and so forth? I mean, I don't want.
Depended on how ticked off I were at each one of them. No, it was based on experience.
Mhm.
You'll see at times experience didn't matter. One particular case, but it was what they do for the town. There are guys here that, some of the things we did, that thing down there on South Road.
Mhm.
Okay, we had the engineer in there, he was there for 20 minutes, he left, he never showed back up. Okay, but I needed his stamp. All of the materials that he told us we had to use,
The
this is
bridge.
back, this is back at
Yeah,
COVID,
the
this is
one-
during COVID.
Yeah.
Were completely unavailable. But I had two guys that were masons. They basically are masons, and as good as any mason you'll know. And we poured walls and we reinforced that backside there so that, knock on wood, it never happens again. Those are people you want to take care of. You want here. Guys that show up. I haven't had but maybe one person bug out of emergencies, which, on December 1st, everything's an emergency. And I've had maybe one guy conspicuously absent in the last few years, a few times. What you probably don't see a lot is these summer storms. I mean, we got trees down every time if it rains and the wind blows 10 miles an hour, they're on the ground, they're on the road. And we gotta go.
Are there opportunities for some on your staff to go for not just licensing, but go for other trainings perhaps throughout the year, which would improve their status as a staff member, which in your end of the year
Yep.
individual review would be reflective of, hey, this guy's got some initiative,
Yeah,
we'll reward him for that.
yeah.
Are there those kinds of things?
A lot of that stuff. They tell you to bring golf clubs. It's like, now, and I may be just me being me, but some of it, a lot of the stuff is the legal end. Okay, which is good for some, maybe not.
More of a prep for a supervisor kind of guy.
More of that. I've talked to my men that were eligible to be a deputy. Nobody wants it. And now they're no longer eligible because they moved or whatever.
Did the high school ever put back in their,
No. You're talking about the BOCES program?
well, not BOCES, but you know what I'm talking about. Carpentry, electric.
Yeah,
I think they bust
Shop class.
Yeah. I think they bust them to Poughkeepsie when they're juniors and seniors.
Yeah, but that's for, that's BOCES.
That's
That's BOCES, yeah.
They got
never
rid of
did.
shop.
Yeah, in school.
It
yeah.
never restated it.
No. Oh my God, that's
Really?
30 years ago.
So it wasn't 30 years.
Oh, I bet it was.
No,
Well, who's the
no, I
last?
wrote a letter to the town. It wasn't that long ago
No?
that they got rid of shop. Maybe, I think it wasn't that long.
I think that's what we're dealing with there.
Yeah.
I think it was quite a while.
Was it?
Yeah, well, Bud Cop was the last one I knew,
Yeah,
Right.
and
but geez,
that's a long time ago, man.
that is such a,
That's a university.
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
I mean, my
Mhm.
grandkids they're in middle school and they teach them how to make, things out of wood, and they're showing them all about electricity. It's not just science class, it's.
Yeah, well, maybe it's gonna make
Yeah.
a comeback,
Every-
but for years they've all been told that they have to go to college to be somebody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
That's-
Yeah,
I
that's,
bet,
you know, like auto mechanics. I mean,
Yeah,
and they make a lot of money,
yeah.
yeah.
and they don't, you know,
Well, they make a lot of money now because they're scarce.
well, yeah, they're scarce, but they also have to know a lot.
Yeah, no, I know.
And they'll,
As far as the training goes, I will look into it. I'll see. I wish there was something more localized than, sending somebody to Ithaca, New York for a weekend, you know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, and there probably is. I just haven't been looking at, but it's a good suggestion. I'll look out for it.
So in your group,
Yep,
I know we talked 3%, was the ballpark,
yeah.
Mhm.
all of these 3% or?
Oh, no, they're over that.
They're a little over.
They're a little over.
You plucked
But one is less than 3%.
at the other, so you took your pool of dollars and you divided.
I did, and you know, you had a good suggestion, and we haven't done it in a few years, is sitting down with each one of them, which I do occasionally. It's more standing, but, and going over how they're doing in writing.
I think that helps people so much.
You know, it's, I don't mind doing it,
I know.
but it's more for you guys.
But
to
it's also
take-
it's a good.
Like a yearly
communication
evaluation.
It's a yearly.
Yeah, or bi-yearly.
But you give them some goals for the following.
Yeah, you know, but the guys that you have now, I think, let's see. The youngest is 8 years in.
do we have a meeting with everybody to go over the health benefits and
Yeah,
do we,
Yes.
yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they have to
Yeah.
collect.
right.
well, they're explained. I don't know that we did it this year. It's usually, they're pretty well, you know, they know the
Yeah.
benefit packages, believe me.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think we did it a couple of years ago, did we?
So we don't have to do that annually in case.
No, you have to
somebody
offer
changes their
it.
Coverage,
They
or
can
they just
come in
come in
and
and tell you,
out.
I need to change my coverage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I send out a form to everybody.
So it's
Are
not
you
like
staying with
they're
me?
upping each year.
Right.
No.
Okay.
I tell them, you know, I ask them, are they keeping the same thing? Do they want to switch? So that helps me to determine on my health and dental spreadsheet,
Right.
what the health insurance costs are gonna be.
We had one guy who retired who's not on it. Another, one of our guys who didn't take it here is now on it. And the new guy didn't take it.
Right,
And that's, so the difference is
And I think-
negligible.
did Joe,
Yeah,
one of your guys
Joe.
wants
Yeah.
to take it
Yeah.
this year.
No, that's what I said.
Yeah.
One's taking it, but we lost one that was taking it, and the new guy's not.
So anybody else questions on salaries? So in your vision for 2024, as far as projects and stuff, you're set here.
I hope so. I mean, you know, always something always comes up. Look
Yeah.
at the overflow, took us down, you know.
The percentage into your budget, right, for emergency services?
Well, when I got here, there was a percentage built in for emergency services, and I have not touched it. And I've managed to get along.
Okay,
What happened was the year before I got here, there was maybe an overreaction and a lot of time that was, you guys remember the overtime thing. You probably remember it. But it's still there. I haven't touched it.
okay.
Okay? And I'm hoping I don't have to. I mean, if I did, I could reduce it a little. I may have reduced it once, minimally, but I think I'm ready in that regard.
Anything from the state on they changing chips reimbursement and any of that? kind of stuff?
Our chip reimbursements are good. I mean, we seem to be plodding along. We've got a new one. It's called POP or some darn thing. So there's now 1, 2, 3, 4 altogether, which we take money from.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing this year is gonna be that darn Bridge, New York. It's a lot of work.
One.
Yeah. When they give you a lot of money, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. It always is.
But that we have a regional advisor and a local advisor, hopefully between that and the engineers, we'll get through it.
So are there any expenses next year that we're gonna incur? You're like,
So
"Well,
that's something I want to get straight with
Okay.
everybody. So I want to buy some vehicles next year. We're going to pay off, we're going to try to pay off Charlie's
Four
truck.
way,
Let's
yeah.
call it number 8, okay? And we're going to try to pay it this year. January will be the last payment
Yes,
Whereas it-
otherwise it would be January and then.
of 2024,
20.
okay? I probably
Which
will,
which one is that?
that's the new 2019 dump sander. International dump sander. I'm gonna try to purchase not normally, in our we usually put 2 vehicles in a van. We usually have, running through the budget, okay? This year, we'll have none coming. I can buy a truck if I wanted to. I'm trying to buy that truck that we got through, they're telling me, see ya, I don't know when it'll
They're
be
not
here.
available.
So this year, 2024, I'd like to buy the trucks. And correct me when I'm wrong, Lois, we don't start paying for them till the next year in the van. And is that when we budget for them? Okay, so you won't see
I got
anything in this year's budget, okay? I am trying to work with the county. They have grants every once in a while for vehicles, and I'm gonna try to work through that.
Would you see any benefit, and I know we talked about this in long range planning, of developing a philosophy with your fleet that no matter what the age of or the condition of the truck is or your vehicle is, if it's 5 years, it goes. So
We,
you're rolling them every 5 years rather than duct tape these things for 10 years?
okay, well, we're talking 30 years here.
Well, whatever.
Some of the ones we're just dealing with,
Just
but
a constant roll.
Okay, so-
Don't you get a better sale, resale?
you sure do, but here's the deal. So chips, I go by this. So when you buy, if I went to buy a vehicle through chips, with chips money,
Mhm.
they qualify allowing you to buy this vehicle because it has a 10-year lifespan.
10 years.
10-year lifespan. Now, in regard to what you're saying, 5-year, it would be a nightmare probably trying to flip them and you're just getting one. A lot of these things don't have a lot of miles on them. A lot of them have hours,
Where?
you know what I mean, and wear from the salt.
Yeah.
But not a lot of miles. So you could end up in 5 years with a truck with 40,000 miles on it. You know what I mean? Great trade-in, but have you gotten what you paid for? Have you gotten out of it what you need to? If you go to like a 7-year plan, where you look at the truck and say, okay, maybe now it's time. You know what I mean?
Because there's been several times you've come in,
Oh, no, yeah,
this thing's falling apart.
yeah, no, they're all
We need to
they're
get
all
another-
falling apart.
Instead of, let's get another one, this was still fairly good, but let's get.
It's just me, I think, is the old truck. I mean, look at mine. I put 120,000 on it since I've been here, and it's still going, except for the fenders in the back, they're gone. But, so do you take a peek at them at 6-7 years and say, this one's, they put 45,000 miles on it, 50,000 miles on it, maybe now it's time to go.
But I know my good friend here is gonna say, it's got 10 more, that's got 10 more years on it.
Oh, no, it's true, it could, but
Mary calls me a cheapskate.
yeah. I don't know that, I don't, what I'm saying is I know you're right. I know you're right, and I'm just not sure that 5 years gives it enough.
Enough.
But that makes.
The utilities,
Those is
absolutely.
Maybe
Those
it's better.
utilities,
They're not.
those
making
utilities,
vehicles
I got
with-
one that's got 160,000 on it,
You don't get.
and they're hard.
You don't get
So yes,
You don't.
and that's a 2012.
Keep leasing.
Do you do that with your
Under
grader, your
warranty?
tractors, all
Yeah.
of those things?
What's that?
No, those are.
Look at,
Those are parts eaters, basically. They just keep eating parts.
Well, the
What I'm
grader
looking at is,
especially.
do you need 2 graders? I got two big graders. You know, do I need two of them? Yeah, maybe if the one breaks down in the middle of grading season, damn right I need it, but,
Yeah.
so we keep it, you know, we keep it running, let's put it that way. We don't use it too much, but
Which goes back to your mechanic.
yeah, yeah, it goes back to the mechanic. Well, it's basically a service thing every year. You get it. You know, I think they hadn't started the number 2 grader in 3 years. Sat out there and they went out and Unionville wanted to borrow it. I said, okay, and they went out and started it and drove it away. Couldn't believe it, yeah.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, so I don't know if 5 years is the number, but
Well,
it's
some
something we should do something because it, I mean, you know, it helps all of us. I mean, some of these things get left in the, you know, in the dust and they're there forever and,
They get weathered, they get beat
Yeah.
up with the salt. That's
Yeah.
one thing.
yep. Well, that's the biggest part is the salt.
Did we finish talking about the bridge?
As far as,
Didn't you say you had something you like the, did he tell us?
No, he said like vehicles, but are we
You
I mean,
asked
we
the
don't have
question and he
anything
said
in
he
the
was gonna
budget
talk about
for
it
that
and
bridge?
I think we got sidetracked.
well, no, I thought no, I thought that the idea of is that it was gonna be reimbursed,
Mhm.
all of that money, and you and I have discussed that. And we don't feel that it's necessary to put into the budget because it is a reimbursement.
Okay, as long as I mean, is it,
I mean, well, that's what I
do we
thought you
get
said.
reimbursed
'cause I don't-
100% or do we get reimbursed
Okay, so I believe
up
it's,
to a dollar amount?
well, I believe it's up to a dollar amount.
Okay,
And I believe it was 1.5 million. And I believe it's not like it's not like the FEMA.
uh-huh,
All right, with the FEMA,
You gotta pay and.
80% is what we gotta pay the 20.
right,
Okay, to my knowledge, and I'll
Uh-huh.
check on it with
Okay.
the boss upstairs,
Yeah.
but pretty sure that we get it
Okay.
dollar for
But you
dollar.
don't run it through your budget. You have to run a parallel accounting for everything you're doing.
well, we would have to run it through the budget because you're paying out expenses, but you would get that, it's kind of like the CHIPS
So it's
money,
a wash.
it'll be a wash.
So is it?
When you know you're gonna submit a certain dollar amount for reimbursement,
It's just plugged into the budget now
no,
from one point, whatever.
no.
No, 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 no.
No,
No, the only,
It won't
It'll
be,
wash it, but it'll drive your
no.
perception will make it look like your budget is way high.
yeah, well, that's right. And that's,
Yeah.
and since we aren't required
I would
to
keep
do
it
that,
as a parallel.
well, yeah,
Instead of
yeah, and it's only this year, I think they told us this year coming, it was only 247 and change, I believe is what the number was.
you run it
And
as
that
a-
is mostly going to be design
Engineering.
costs,
Engineers fee.
yeah, and that, so. So I think we figured
So
250
where do you
just,
think you stayed in the ground for that?
well, I don't know spade in the ground, but I was told completion was possibly March of 2024. 2025, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You're a bridge guy. We'll get you a couple of
Yeah.
extra guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm so mixed up, these other bridges. There's 3 of them now going on. That one, the one on Burbank Road, and this one here in the village.
When's
I say the
Burbank
village,
Road?
it's sort of in the middle,
Where's?
right down at the.
Oh, yeah, right.
Milk factory pond, you would know
When's
that.
that now?
The mill, yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Factory pond, we use.
Yeah, we gotta get.
What's the
guy in
date?
here.
Yeah.
Next year?
Mid next year, yeah, that's what I thought.
and then what about Kalan?
Okay, so you had put money in for
30.
30,000, all
Yeah.
right, so,
Plus you have 19 and change still in ARPA
okay.
that we've designated, so that gives you
49,000, 50,000. All right, so I'm not sure what you guys are gonna get and what we're gonna start laying it out upstairs probably this week. We have maps, which are the right of way. Everything has now been basically completed. There's some drive.
The traffic study.
Traffic study's done. It's going to require an explanation before you even probably start looking at this stuff. So my idea is to get a hold of Colliers, have them come down here and explain it, what you're looking at.
Remember
Okay.
we did that presentation.
Yeah, yeah, and that way then they'll come up with, they're gonna say, well, look, here, you need drainage here in this area because it's low here, because the topography, et cetera, et cetera. Those maps are here, okay? You're gonna, and then they're gonna say, and by the way, this is so-and-so's property, you know, you gotta deal with him. So,
Did they give us anything to print out? Like for their review, the traffic study, the survey or anything?
Yeah,
It's upstairs, upstairs.
Okay,
and there's also a thumb drive full of information.
I think that's where I was gonna ask, you said you had a thumb drive.
Kathleen,
And you printed it or?
no.
Okay.
No. We're waiting to talk to Colliers to see, because it's very long.
It's very long.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
The point of that was I was gonna ask you for a copy of that.
Oh, okay.
Review it.
Okay, well, as soon as we talk to, and I don't know if she talked to him today. I
But
don't
if
think
it's
so.
too thick, you know, maybe,
Well, that's right. You don't want to go through.
maybe you can give me the thumb drive.
And copy it onto, yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever. But I'm sure there'll be other, everybody will want to take a look at it. But I think the whole thing is sequencing and what we're looking at. And the explanation for, is it a 3-rod road? I believe it is. You know, where are the trouble spots that we're gonna run into? Do we deal with this, or do we say, you know what, we can mitigate that another way and go here and put the drainage there and so on?
See, that kind of presentation would be good education for all. people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but they should at least come down, explain it, and
Special meeting.
special meeting, whatever, or, yeah, whatever you guys prefer. But I'll talk to them and see what their schedule is, because we're heading for, you know, holidays and all that stuff. So we'll see what they can do.
Because our next, now that we have the survey and we have the traffic study and this and that, the next step would be to take care of drainage or anything like that. Is that right?
Well, I think the idea is to put it on the maps and say, you know, this is gonna work here,
Yeah, he's got.
that's gonna work there.
Right.
What are you gonna do? Are you
Because-
going to reclaim this road? You know, that would probably have an effect on where your drainage goes and so on,
Right.
you know,
But if we remember the initial steps from, I think Colliers, it was do this, and then do this.
it was, but
And then after we fix the drainage, then
I think so, but you're gonna do all those things at once,
okay,
pretty much.
then we develop a crown and then
Well, there's always a crown. It's just, it's not as obvious when, for example, you know, and I didn't get upset about it, but Colliers was supposed to have been here in May to look at the road,
Mhm.
and they didn't come till October.
Yeah,
And I didn't regrade it in September when I normally do, or October when I normally do. That's why the poor grading, but still, and it didn't bother me because I wanted to see him in bad shape anyway.
Right.
So, but yeah, those decisions will be made based on, you know, what the information is and what you guys can stomach
Right.
for, you know,
Yeah.
how far you want to go and what you want to do. But I think the steps are basically just hey, do this 1 year and do this the next year. Okay, if you want to do it that way, yeah, maybe, but
Well, you'd have to do like,
if once you get on that road, you might as well do
you
something.
have to at least try to fix drainage, right? Before we put in.
I don't think there's much
put any
drainage.
product,
There's
you know.
not, yeah, there's not much to fix. There's some to install
Yeah,
more.
okay, all right, install,
Yeah,
like fix the drainage problem.
yeah, no, I agree. That could be
Before
a,
we do any,
well, we have areas on
Well-
the road that's single lane.
yeah, all right. So let me
Deal with
explain
that.
something. Once you put drainage under the road, I'm not gonna dig it up again. So if you're going to reclaim the road, okay, and the engineers may tell me different. If you're gonna reclaim that road, as you're going, you put the drainage in. Cause then you're just putting the top back on,
Hmm.
whatever that is. If you're going to put drainage in and then I'm gonna dig it all up,
no, we're
Doesn't
not gonna
make
dig
sense.
it all up again, Joe.
well, there's, the drainage goes in the road.
Yeah, I know that,
Okay,
but you dig it up, you put the drainage, and then you put down any type of product, and then the new product would go on top of that, whatever we decide. You know, but it's not gonna need to be redug again.
Well, let's hope not.
you know.
Let's hope it just, well, and right, it'll all be subject to cost too.
Right.
I mean, you know, how
Well,
much,
that's
you-
why they
Yeah.
designed the steps.
Yeah.
The costs
yeah,
factor it as well.
and I will tell you this, that those costs are inflated, and they will tell you that also. Yep,
Yeah, but what numbers do you use the numbers they give you?
you use your bid, you know,
Yeah,
whatever the
yeah.
bids come out, I guess.
Anything else jump out at you?
No, it's more what you guys are thinking.
So. After discussing this, I mean, do we put more money in for Killen or do we have enough?
That I don't know, and to be honest with you, that might be a question for the engineers. You know, if I had to, I don't want to, but not just my money. I mean, if it goes over that number that we have, which I can't imagine it would, to start to get through the process of what we're gonna try to achieve,
Mhm.
Well, we have 40.
50,000 or something like that,
Yeah,
49.
40.
But I do have CHIPS money that can be used for
Okay.
engineering,
Okay,
okay,
Yeah.
in case it goes slightly over.
Mhm.
If you're talking about working this year coming, which could start,
Mhm.
then you don't have anything in the budget to do that. But,
Wasn't that the plan though? I mean.
Oh, we
just
don't know.
started working.
well,
Until we meet with Collier
Mhm.
and find out what their recommendations are,
okay,
final
well,
recommendations after all this work that they've done. How can we possibly put money in the budget? Just
Well-
a haphazard number?
no,
No,
but,
if you put the drainage number that was originally given to us or a percentage of that.
or what you do is, I mean, I'm assuming this being a capital project, you're going to ban this money. Is that accurate, Lois? Is that how it would be done? I don't think we're going to increase
It has to be-
the taxes
Right,
to accommodate this project.
right,
Right.
So
Okay.
you could actually take that ban this year, correct me when I'm wrong, okay? Start work and start paying it next year. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Well,
correct.
all right, that's the plan.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right.
yeah, I don't know how else you could possibly.
I don't know how you could fund it
Well,
anyway.
that one, we don't have to put any
That,
in
okay,
the budget.
but we can
Yes.
still think about working. Okay, good.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, John.
Any other questions for John?
Okay,
Pray for no snow.
Good,
yeah, pay for the stuff.
a good budget. Joe.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah, thank you,
Oh,
guys.
yeah, I hope we, hopefully don't get as much snow as we got rain this year.
Well, I hope we don't get any more rain.
That's not what
Uh,
they're.
I know.
I hope we don't get any more rain.
It's Saturday.
I don't mean,
Yeah.
I don't mean now, I meant this winter. I'll take snow anytime. Yep. All right, guys.
Thanks, Joe, very much.
Yeah.
Just not-
Have a good
night, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Joe.
what I did for you guys, and I forgot to give it to you, is a comparison. From last 2023's budget
Mhm.
to 2024,
Okay,
because the new system. Being that it's new, it has nothing to compare it to.
Hello
Do
there.
you want a copy? Yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so you can take a
Oh,
look at that.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Daniel.
Did we have cookies with us?
Oh,
They
they're
didn't last-
loyal.
they didn't last long. They were good.
Does she have a copy of this?
Do you have a copy, Daniel? You need a copy?
Yeah, probably. I think you updated it since the last.
Which one are we on?
She has a comparison.
Just give the whole, I don't know if you need the whole big sheet, it's fine.
Lois?
Yep.
Did she have this one?
No. Did I hand them all already?
No, that's fine.
The comparison from 2023 to 2024.
How are you? No one can do first aid and CPR tomorrow?
I'm sorry.
Can't do first.
Can't do it
Not at
either.
that time period, no.
I could use it too.
Well, we could always
Yeah,
do
they-
another one.
I had it yearly and
Mhm.
that worked. So
Okay.
it was something that I was, but I can't.
Well, then maybe we can organize something else if there's more people that want
Chrissy,
to.
you got a copy of this?
Yes, I just did. Thank you. Yep,
Could you have her look at it with you?
absolutely.
It's just gonna be questions on these.
Um,
Danielle, were you here for last year's budget?
no,
Just had come.
I mean, I was just here and no, not really.
I'm interested in kind of what did well financially and what didn't go so well financially this year. So in order to do that, you almost have to look at this comparison of 2023, 2024. So for instance, on the park and food concession, they had budgeted 9,000 for 23, but nothing was budgeted for 24, correct?
That's correct, because we're gonna try and have somebody else in there.
So, and if we don't get anybody, we're just not doing it again.
Well, this year we had minor, we had food that was prepackaged.
Correct, so is that in a budget somewhere? If you have to do that,
No,
okay?
which hopefully the revenue would, that you get at the concession.
Which it did cover. I
If
think.
we,
Covers the
if we
expenses.
decide to do that and try to get a vendor in there
We have 2 people interested now.
and we just waive the, whatever the
Yeah.
rental fee is,
Just let them come in.
right, let them, whatever they earn.
Service.
But we have to be sure that they know that they have to leave the place in the same condition.
Oh, for
Give it
sure.
for them
Oh,
and
yeah,
keep it up.
Especially if we kind
Properly.
of upgrade.
Well, that could be in a contract that we make. with
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
If we can upgrade, but yeah, I
I
totally.
And then
think
it
that
could be a
rental-
second year.
It's a detriment.
10% of,
Chase.
sure. Sure, get rid of
Yeah,
it.
we
Once
talked
people
about
know
that.
about it,
Just waive it.
if there's a
Yeah.
reputable,
It almost becomes an annex of the business they're running.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
They approach it that way.
Well, we have a business that's interested in it, and then there's,
Food truck.
community members that don't have the business but are interested in it. There's between the two.
Because the thought is if we do start making improvements there, and that is an annex of some nice restaurant or caterer or
Yeah.
whatever. Not just for the pool people, but maybe for some of the amenities that we're trying to add there, people could walk over and.
But like wear and tear on the equipment or anything like that, or electric use or any, like, where does the revenue for that come from if we're waiving?
If we've got all of that. The use of the building itself, I think is already built into your building use, correct? Because you've got electricity running through there for your pumping system. Your first aid room. The use of the building is used by the park.
Uh-huh.
The concession is used by the concessionaires, but
Yeah.
still you have electricity running through there. As far as the equipment, we gotta get somebody in there. When a caterer says, I would like to do it, we gotta have them and us look at that equipment and say.
Well, there's not much.
It's very minimal.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not-
here's
You know what, Joe? I really think that if we get
Oh,
somebody
does that-
good in there, I think
no,
we're
no,
gonna get
that's-
more people to
that's
come
your
into the park. So
So,
I think it's
okay,
gonna
pop
really
that from
wash
the
it out,
park.
right?
Okay.
Right now, a lot of people were
That's-
complaining that they would have spent a lot more time there, or they would have come more often had there been food there. So I really feel like
Yeah,
if there is food there, we're gonna get more
like
people to
a
come in.
service that we can
So
store.
the thing will
Correct.
chase them as
And they-
well, so the
yeah.
fee we were charging.
Yeah.
That's way.
Okay.
Yeah, the fee that was pretty large
Mhm.
that we were asking.
And to think, Joe, down the road, as you're looking at that structure encompassing as a campus. Your fees for membership, your fees for coming in,
Mhm.
all have to be adjusted to kind of offset.
So
all
offset
kinds of
that,
costs.
okay, yeah.
Whether it's the fees for the daycare center or senior program or rentals on the pavilions,
Yeah.
all of that has to be adjusted.
Look at it.
We'll get it.
We're hoping, yeah.
Not to
Are we all going with
upgrade the
rental?
ongoing maintenance.
What was that?
All going with rentals?
Yes.
Your senior program. You have improved that tremendously. Is that $2,000 going to cover what you want to continue to do with the seniors?
The $2,000 is just the
Just
revenue that we
your
get, the
revenue.
$9,000.
So we
is
have
what
to
we're gonna-
go
for
to,
I'm
expenses.
looking at revenue here.
yeah,
Oh, this is revenue.
so you have to start on page like 4. For expenses.
So we know that the senior program is gonna cost us, but it's something that we really want to offer to the community. We get $2,000
For the garden, right?
from Tribute Gardens.
So it-
That basically
The park
pays
and
for,
pool starts pretty much at the top of the page 4. And then as you go down to the 7310 numbers, that's your recreation
So we're
number.
looking at page 4 on your budget.
12.
Yes. Yes, on the budget.
Okay, on the 3, so what 4, yeah, okay.
4.
It starts with rec director, right?
Yeah,
And it goes all the way through to youth programs, CP.
Yeah.
Right before library, that's the line item for recreation.
well, on 3, we start with the assistant rec
Salary.
director, which we kind of want to talk about.
Yeah,
okay,
Okay, so, we had 15 in there originally for the assistant rec director, and now we're down to 10. But if we do this senior program, my vision is that we have something available for seniors on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I will be there with the toddler program early, you know, until about 11:30, and then the senior program will start from there, and it'll probably be a 3-hour thing. So that pretty much takes all my time if I were to do the senior program and the toddler program for 3 days a week. So do we hire somebody to, this rec assistant, to do part of the senior program?
my hope here, a rec program and only one person overseeing it is burnout.
Mhm.
And we ran into that
Yes.
with several previous rec directors
Mhm.
until we came to that assistant rec director. But because of the seasonal fluxing of intensity of programs, whereas the summer is really intense. And then it kind of flattens off, but then these other programs, it's not crashing like it used to. It's more plateauing down to a level where there is still need for somebody to be overseeing those programs.
Mhm.
So maybe you look at a quote rec director that is not there for the entire year, because $10,000 now it's up for a lot of time. But you do it kind of on a seasonal need or a program need,
Mhm.
if the person who accepts that job is willing to do it that way.
Mhm.
That's a tough in and out, in and out, in
Yeah.
and out. Or you start building in
So when
a
you say,
CEO director,
so when you're
a
at,
staff underneath her.
so when you're at
Right.
Danielle, you hire somebody to take care of the senior program, like how many hours would?
I'm glad you asked that, because I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So to get somebody part-time,
Yeah.
I think realistically, I think you almost have to pay them about $18 an hour. Realistically, I
Yeah.
mean, to get
Mhm.
somebody decent to do it. So I was thinking of 2 different schedules that we could do, which could be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11:30 to 3:30, which would equal 4 hours per day, 12 hours per week. So that would be $216 per week, 52 weeks, that would be 11,232.
Mhm.
So do we need to go that level? Maybe not at first, especially since it's not going to be ready for the whole year. So we don't have to do that whole thing. Now,
But that's
If I do-
$11,000, that's not too bad, right? I mean, we have 10,000 budgeted for that, right?
15.
we have
10.
10, we have
Yeah.
10 right now, but the senior program is not going to be quite ready
Yeah,
for the whole year.
yeah,
But then there is some help that could have been done for camp. So
okay,
if we're just talking the senior program, we don't need this whole 11,000 this upcoming year, because it's probably not going to start until maybe March or April,
So
whatever.
what did
until the
that
water.
math out to $17 an hour?
$18 an hour.
$18
Is
an
that
hour.
competitive?
I would think so.
Okay, okay, for the time, yeah.
And then the other option would
So
be,
you're looking at people that come in with,
they come up, they make coffee, they get cards ready, they get the Rubik's Cube or, whatever else. They contact people to come in and have presentations on whatever is,
they're coordinated.
correct. And I'll coordinate with them, of course.
So you're not looking for the college trained recreation student who wants to get into it as a profession.
I mean, this should be part of everybody's recreation service, that they offer some kind of
Yes.
senior program, but no,
You're not
it's
gonna find that person that's gonna be willing to work those hours and that rate.
right.
It's just like
Right.
this.
It could be part of another, like if they had another program that they're doing, let's say somebody comes and they do yoga in the morning somewhere else and they do something in the afternoon so that they have more hours, but just for this, I see it as maybe a senior person that wants to run it.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Okay,
So I was also thinking, okay, what happens if that's too many hours and it's too expensive? What if I jump in on Wednesdays and I do Wednesdays, or one of the days, for example? So then it would only be 8 hours, which would be $144 a week to do 2 days instead of the 3. And that would come out to about $7,500.
But I probably wouldn't get somebody to do that.
Again, it could be a
Yeah.
senior that's
Yeah, I think-
already,
And I think to Mike's point that we don't need any burnout on your end, so we're trying to eliminate that,
Being administrative,
right? So,
whereas currently, because we haven't been able to structure it yet, you're jumping into everything.
yeah,
I mean, you're picking up clothing from a soccer field, you're doing all that kind of stuff. If we can build that little bit of a ladder that our people, especially waterfront people, the camp people, the senior person, they might be the same person 2 seasons, but yeah.
Right.
Don't go to second,
no,
stay with. the
I was
first.
trying to give options.
No, stay with the first.
So, yeah, and a good assistant is worth the weight in gold.
for sure.
Mhm.
If if you can walk away for a day or you don't feel good or something, and they can do the whole thing.
It doesn't mean it's not your vision. And you want that vision instilled into that person. So if they're working for you, but 12 months of a senior program, I think the community would go back.
For sure.
And that doesn't even include the trips that we're gonna
Your
take.
special events, your trips and stuff, it's all
Right.
just.
I'd love to have somebody come and take blood pressure and talk to people about dietary stuff and, like all that kind of stuff, just a hub. Reach out to those people,
Jazzercise, any of that.
Yes,
kind of stuff to get
absolutely.
Seniors out there.
yoga, whatever. I mean, they have some of this stuff at the library and we certainly are not gonna compete with the library, but it might give them a second day of these same things that they have at the library.
Absolutely.
Well, Joe and I were knocking on doors all weekend. There's plenty of seniors.
In fact, I heard from a young woman that you spoke to, and she was very thrilled about your conversation and showed me your picture and everything. So,
Oh, yeah.
Smiling, I hope.
All right,
Good.
So what do you want to put there?
yeah, I'm getting old stuff. No, let's do it.
What's your?
I think you sent me something like this.
Excuse me.
so we have
I
10,
think
so we,
that I should probably
we
look for
can put 12 there.
money to
instead
go
of
to grants
15.
for
Go
stuff
back to
like that.
Danielle's conversation.
I'm trying to get a hold on
Yeah.
how to work all that, getting the grant and writing the grant is one thing. It's
here's-
then finding the grant for the program.
You go on that Dutchess County,
Hmm.
you still have that thing on the grant that you could sign up to get all of those.
But I have the one that you
Yeah,
gave me. and-
but they come to me automatically because I signed up for it a long time ago. So just about any grant that is coming up, or even stuff that's not grants, but the clean water things and all that.
But you can write
I
grants
get-
for things like a senior program.
Danielle, the other night at our board meeting, you rightfully explained to us that people signed up for an activity, didn't show, and it cost
Mhm.
you $400 to $600.
Yeah.
Down to 2. I think building in a rate for this kind of person. I think your senior, some of your senior program might be a pay to attend kind of thing to offset that a little.
Like a
bit.
deposit or. like
Well, you
a-
can't.
And you can get,
If they want to go to Jazzercise, they sign up for Jazzercise, but it's $25 or $10 or $20. Help offset some of those expenses. Because if you hire this person at 15,000. And they're doing all these programs and we're getting nobody going to these things because they're saying, yes, I'm coming. And we're anticipating 25 and it's 5 show. That's an expensive.
Yeah, people lay out just even a little bit
That's
of
an
money. They'll
expensive program
show
for
up.
5 people.
yeah,
But there are things like the Clinton Corners library used to offer a free chair
It's
yoga
fine,
that was a grant.
but some.
So it's programs that we can.
Coming from the grant.
Can we
atmosphere at the
just
hospital.
offer it first and then worry about charging people for things
It's the
once
same
it's up
way
and
of-
moving?
It's the same way of soliciting donations. We always said to the hospital as the foundation directors. We have donors now. Those donors are gonna age out and disappear. But you still want to maintain these programs. It's gonna get pushed to now what you're charging for admissions for certain services within the hospital, so. Don't always depend on the grants, don't always depend on the donors, because that can disappear. So always start to think, how can we maintain this, especially when people get used to them? Down the road, so you don't have to cancel them
Right.
because the grantor disappeared or the donor disappeared. So I would think some of the programs, as you're developing with whomever you hire in, think of them some.
Oh, yeah, I
fees.
I definitely think the general thing of someplace for people to go and meet with people and socialize, that definitely would be something that I would hope that we could offer
Like
without charging.
season passes to the park. Maybe you do a senior pass to the programs.
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna work it to have the seniors in that building and camp with the pool going on.
Well.
We're gonna have to work.
That's why we hired you.
So
got a long time to think about it.
Yep.
Not very well. It goes quick.
Yeah, I know it does.
back to that line item, like we're trying to refocus and because
Well, we're not.
here until
not
midnight.
Be focused, Joe. We're talking about the whole aspect
No.
of these things.
No, Mike, excuse me. So back to the line item that we were talking about. And you calculated 11,000 and change. How much do you feel we should put into that? I was saying 12,000.
Or do you want to go back
Because-
to
Can
your,
we go back to 15?
I can try
Why
to
would
make
we
that
go to
work.
15?
Because
You just-
originally, let's think about the history of the town of Washington Recreation. Originally, there was Warren and Kelly, right?
Right.
And
So
prior to
now
that
there is
was,
just Warren,
Dave
Yeah.
Bell.
and there is no
Did you
Kelly.
assistant? I
So
don't remember.
this position that we're talking about is the Kelly position, basically. So how many hours did she work?
Oh, I don't
Full time.
remember.
I mean, not full time. She was 12 months a year.
I thought
Right.
you were just doing a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type thing.
Well,
For
that's
senior
for the
program.
senior program. Then there's somebody that can help getting ready for
Other-
the summer
yeah,
stuff.
Okay, so
Right.
all week, every day then. You want.
Not right now, but eventually I'm hoping that we get busy enough so that we are gonna need.
Well, let's leave the 15 in there and see what happens, and we can
We'll
always
try to
cut
make
it down
it
a little bit.
Yeah,
All right,
But you gotta offset it with them.
yeah. Or
But your,
can't even do that with this line item.
your assistant's gonna be 12 months a year, right?
Well, we've been going back and forth on that. So the assistant money has been in there since last year and not touched, but we couldn't touch it because of Jonathan being part of it. So that was there 15 in there last year?
For 2023, yes.
Yes.
And the year
So
before,
we didn't have an assistant last year because that money had to go to
To
Jonathan's
Jonathan.
salary, or at least part of Jonathan's salary, so we didn't touch it. So
So aren't we thinking that like a 12-month job for an assistant? I mean, isn't that what,
well, for the senior person, it would be, I would think.
But that senior,
No.
don't use the title senior.
I guess I'm confused, that,
The assistant would get the responsibility of the
Of the
senior
senior
program, but they
okay.
could have the responsibility of other things.
Right.
So you're right.
No.
It's hypothetical right now.
it's not just for the senior programs, for whatever you need,
No, it's
it,
Initially, it's focused just on senior.
right?
yeah,
Okay,
assistant rec
So-
director. That's what we're talking about.
right.
Okay. And that would be,
So what number do we need to make that happen?
Well, we had 15 in there. You leave it at
You think
15,
that'll do it?
but you gotta offset how do you offset that line?
Well,
You,
do you
we-
offset it by things like the toddler program that next year is gonna make 15,000? The basketball that's making 3,000 here, like, does that
Well,
work
it's
like
already in
that?
a revenue stream.
But it's in the
it
revenue.
normally doesn't because this is a 7020 and not a rec number. So it's just, like your position isn't. Your title is recreation director, but you're not. You don't have a revenue source to cover your salary. It's almost like the park and pool
Yeah,
as well.
Right.
So,
Offset against the tax.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's, I think what I was confused on with Cindy is because I thought that
we
Cindy,
put her in the toddler program, so now she is in the rec. The true rec 7310 number.
okay, she is.
So, right, so you should bring in enough revenue through the Tyler program to do her salary and the expenses,
Right,
right? Cause I reclassed that, so, the way you could make it,
could we
I mean,
change it to be toddler / senior program? And it kind of covers both? Is that not?
But you're gonna incur different expenses for each program, and it's easier to keep them separate in order for you to track it.
How much of a salary is the assistant rec director going to? Is it just going to be 15,000?
plus 12 for the seniors. Then that's gonna be, that amount of money is gonna be hard to find.
Oh, so
Without
we need
going
an
over the
additional
tax bill.
12,000.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
An additional
But-
12,000?
I don't know if you need 15K to cover your senior and your help, maybe in the summer with the camp.
An additional 12? No, that would be the whole,
That would be the whole thing.
15.
The
Okay,
15 would be the whole.
yeah.
The whole.
So
That,
that's,
why can't we just leave it at 15 for now?
okay, and then yeah,
well, that'll cover your,
We'll live with it and then we can
Assistant.
talk about it again next year.
Well, you can always adjust it by the number of hours of program you're gonna offer. Like you had already said. In your beginning of proposal, you said
Monday,
Monday,
Wednesday,
Wednesday, Fridays from 9 to 12. Well, you can always shrink those
11 to
hours,
3:30.
but still offer a program, but you're not eating up that whole amount of money.
so your assistant would work how many hours a week? Roughly?
You get it into the budget.
Well,
Well, they would work the senior program for 12 hours a week, so maybe we could say 15 total.
15 hours a week.
And so when they're not
So-
working on seniors, they're working on other things also
Right.
for that same amount of salary.
Was your initial plan just to have help with the seniors, or was that? the
No.
idea? No, it was, okay. All right,
With all,
It would be really nice to have somebody that could take a soccer Saturday
mhm.
every once in a while, so I don't have to work
right.
Exactly.
Well,
8 weeks of 6 days a week,
Right.
Same with basketball.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just to have somebody to cover, like, I
Yeah, they
went
might
away.
enjoy it too. They,
Yeah.
Or 1 day a week out of the 7. We don't even see them. Doesn't have to be a Sunday. that we don't
It's
see.
hard to do that with the toddler program
Right.
going on at the same time.
So 15 is realistic for that job?
I think, yeah.
okay,
I mean, hopefully we can find some more things that we can charge for in that same space and make some revenue. We can have the senior program going until 3, but then at night we can offer something that we can make revenue on.
mhm.
And are you considering, or are we considering, and I don't know what the insurance costs are, but are we considering also, once that building gets up to par, which we want it to be, can we offer that, like we offer rents for the pavilions, can we offer rents for the building?
All right.
That could help cover some of these expenses that we're
Sure,
building
yeah.
into the budget, where the public is
Why
paying
not?
for
For the
it
wedding.
for use purposes.
Right.
Eventually it would be nice to update that building enough so that we can even have weddings or, like big
Absolutely.
parties or graduation parties.
yeah, put in a bar.
Or weddings.
I'll be bartender.
Your recreation line. Weddings hit wedding line.
Okay.
So what was the other, I had a question, I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, what it was, now I wanted to ask.
It'll come to you.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
That's right.
When you're driving.
Right, right.
That's where I am, yeah.
Give it 10, 15.
Text all of us.
Um,
Lois, can you explain to me the 3,000 on the red?
That's your, like your office supplies.
Oh. Okay, so the 44 is just park stuff, right?
Is your lifeguard line.
that was it, I like that.
40,000.
Saving that
We,
2 AM text coming.
in that, the lifeguard,
Which line is it?
It's on,
71, 10?
yeah,
Page
71, yeah.
Oh,
is that for the,
Yeah, it doesn't,
is that for what we
That
pay
one,
them?
lifeguard?
yeah,
And what-
personal service.
What are we figuring like hourly? Any idea? I mean, do we need to,
Well, it's all gonna increase because minimum wage is increasing,
Yeah.
so.
right?
That's the hard part about camp and lifeguarding is that, you know, if they say we want to increase them by 50 cents. But then they were, so we upped the lifeguards last year so that the minimum was 15 because nobody could find lifeguards, so we had to.
Report too, we actually. Because we did.
So are we, do you think we're competitive now where we are?
In the
for next year?
marketplace, probably not, because the marketplace is so depleted of
Like,
potentials
yeah,
that there's bidding wars. Like you might get a state park that's offering 32, and
right.
they're pulling them away, or a private club could pull them away, but
Silo
competitively,
Ridge is a big one that it's gonna
what's
be,
that?
Silo Ridge is gonna be taking a lot of our people. Has taken,
The key is to get the local kids to stay local, that's what you want.
and we are,
So they're.
What are
they are
You
aging
know.
out. Silo Ridge, I thought 25.
And
I'm gonna
everybody
become a
had trouble
lifeguard.
finding.
I know.
What?
I have a license. You was a kid.
So the good news is,
They featured 2 people down in one of the Westchester swimming pools this summer. That were 70-year-old retirees, had lifeguarded when they were 17 to 25,
Yeah,
retired, they became
I heard
lifeguards
about
again,
that, yeah.
because there's no lifeguards.
It's interesting.
Plus, the availability to stay to the end of August is
Yes.
depleted as well. right?
so the good news is that we do have
Yeah.
someone.
You have to have senior coverage, right?
So we have somebody that was our aquatic director last year who is coming back to do that again.
Mhm.
And she's also becoming an instructor, so she can
Lifeguard would be senior overseer.
she can give them their lifeguarding
Oh,
certificate.
wow.
Yes. So what we'd like to do, hopefully, is have her come over the holidays and anybody that says they're interested in it, we'll get all of our people, we will send stuff out to see if anybody's interested over the holiday break. And maybe if we could do it at Maplewood with Claire, then she could
Maplebrook, yeah.
We can get her in there.
get them in. The thing is that you always worry about is that you set it up, they're gonna have to pay for it. It's a lot of money to come up with at first, but it guarantees by them paying for it, just like the seniors, that they're gonna stay for it. They're not, you know, like.
Right.
I had a CPR class that I did, and one of our lifeguards that said that they were gonna stay with us, went to the golf and tennis club. And I paid for him to get his CPR that he needed to be here for.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you can address them as private contractors and have them sign a little contract that if we're going to train them, we're gonna put the money up
Yeah.
front, or we're going to reimburse them. If they leave us, they have to pay us back.
Well, how much does it cost to train somebody?
It's like $400.
But,
I think it's like $400 for the lifeguard course.
Wow.
yeah, and those are mandated courses you have to have. In fact, because we are a lake, even though we call it a pool, it's a different level of certification.
It's even more.
And many of our junior guards got certified on a swimming pool
Yeah.
and not a lake. So we had to bring somebody in to recertify them to get to the lake certification.
Wow.
Even though we call it the town pool.
Can't we put it in the language that, look, you know what I mean? Like, this is for people that are gonna work for us instead of, just offering it and then they go elsewhere?
I don't know, are we allowed to have them sign off on something like
You
that?
have to have some kind of sign off.
Did we ever,
Plus, it's also an incentive for kids that want to do it, but don't have that kind of money, and they know that we will front them.
Mhm.
That might keep a couple of people local.
Then we might have to say how many hours we want them to commit to.
Yes.
in the back of my mind, I've always said that maybe in the future, we could take that lake pool of ours and build a swimming pool. Put 4 walls in, cement walls and use it as a pool and not a
Sure.
lake. Cause I know that, and you can still have the beach, but you could, it would take a lot of,
upkeep.
well, yeah, and it'd be a lot of filling in, but
Yep.
you could make it beach all around maybe and put a pool in the middle or this way, or, how many people do we get on the maximum day at the pool?
4th of July, we have maybe 100, 150.
Yeah,
That's
we could
enough.
build a pool big enough to,
In August,
everybody.
you're 40.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, right?
The big is July, because right after camp, everybody kind of stays.
Yeah.
But then as soon as camp starts, people are off on
Well,
vacation.
vacation, yeah.
Right.
And because of lifeguards, you're closing it down the 3rd week in August.
And when we think about what it costs us to run that pool, the chlorine
And the
and
volume
the
of water,
the electricity,
the filter system.
and
the pump system,
filling it every year, and
It's aging too.
it's,
Yeah. Oh, for
we
sure.
could put a big swimming pool in there. In that hole in the ground. It might not be quite as attractive
Mhm.
at first, maybe little by little, we could enhance it.
Well, that's why I take the other amenities in there.
We could rent little
Yeah.
tents, so they could be under the
Cabana.
tent.
Yeah.
Cabanas.
Cabanas, that's
My yearly cabana room bill.
The drinks with the low umbrella.
And then what? There.
We gotta have a little that. But that's, in the future, that may be the way we have to go,
Mhm.
and still, it'd still be a nice place to go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a jewel.
Yeah.
Well, you can put
Have that acreage.
over an Olympic sized pool in there with no problem, And then you go up to Maplebrook and look at the Olympic sized pool they put in, it's a big pool.
They have lifeguards for it? Were they able to find enough?
Yes, you got some.
She did, yeah.
Well, any programs, Danielle, this year that you felt weren't worthy of continuing?
Hmm.
Okay, so all of your current programs are fixed.
Yeah.
And the Halloween and all of that, you're expanding and you're adding some amenities. You're addressing seniors. Any other niche things that people have expressed to you that they would like to see or have?
Besides pickleball?
Other than.
Pickleball.
Facilities different, but programs,
Well, I think once we're in that building, I'd like to explore different things. There are some people that were talking about fly fishing. We had the Mayfly
Yeah, that was a good
project that
turnout.
was there. Yeah. And I think that they want to continue to do that. Millbrook Marathon.
Yeah,
That is a big thing. They actually just asked me today if they could put up a big poster on the fence, start advertising that now and there's a 4-foot diameter sign that they want to put up that says home of Millbrook Marathon. They asked permission to hang that on the fence.
because there's so many acres.
better be careful. We put too many signs there, we'll get criticized for.
Oh, geez.
But so what I'm saying is check with James, see how many signs we can put up there
Okay.
without.
Because of the acreage. Any thought to using the grounds for other things like concerts, a car show, anything like that? I mean,
Well,
that- all
we were
of
thinking that with Jonathan doing his concert, that we could start that up.
Start to look at that.
That we, unfortunately, he had a rain date and then a lot of people knew that there was going to be another one, but we did envision starting to have concerts up at the large pavilion and having all the people sitting
Mhm.
on the ground
Mhm.
or seats or
Yeah.
whatever.
I know there were a couple of years, I think we did it, flea market up there,
Mhm.
doing your Halloween thing, trick or treat
Trunk
out
or
there.
treat.
I mean, with that huge lawn. There's so much capability, and also Danielle's been going around assessing the quality of the existing picnic tables and the barbecues that are there.
Yeah,
To take a look at all of that too.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we would like to. replace
again,
it.
once all of this comes to fruition, we'll address the security on the place too, but.
Did we-
So much possibilities up
Did
there.
we talk to, should have mentioned this while Joe was here. Did we think about that emergency exit at all at the town park?
I think
Main
that-
service entrance out the back. Yeah,
I think that there was talk.
well, we identified it.
Right.
We haven't sat with Joe yet to talk about
Yeah,
clearing it so that.
yeah, I
At least
talked,
it's a
I
way
talked to
out.
the one neighbor, I haven't been able to get a hold of the guy that owns the horse stables on
Oh.
that side of the road.
we,
I talked to Lynn Bailey.
yeah.
we did find on a map that there is actually,
Yeah, I gave you a copy of it.
Yeah.
so all it would need is be cleared. And it would be like a service entrance, very much what you guys talked about at the top of College Hill.
Yeah,
I'll talk to Jonathan a little more, like when he finishes this, maybe you could spend a day or something, just knocking some of that brush down over there. We could kind of figure out what the
Visualize.
terrain is like and how much work it would need to do, you know. I know we could do it ourselves. I mean, our highway guys
yeah.
could do it.
Yeah.
But again, find the time to do it.
Speaking of highway guys, I talked to Joe this morning about the water being turned off, and we agreed that we would do it right after Halloween, like we always do. Then the trench we'll revisit for the spring. So if that building does, get all ready, we could just get a porta potty in the meantime if we needed it. While the water isn't up and running before frost.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that we didn't at least
Do that before. I know.
look at, dig it down and take a look at the pipes, but
I mean, it was really nice that he came and cleared off that space for the
Yeah.
water to be drained. And,
Yeah.
and I know he's had a hard time this year with,
everything's just
Yeah.
soaking wet.
yeah.
But it worked pretty good.
Oh my gosh. 2 days, it was all
Yeah, it was-
almost cleared out. So that was
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
But if you walk back there and look, when the water's going out,
it's going-
it's still,
But he's gonna go downstream. and-
yeah, we do need to go downstream a little more and clear some brush and trees out of the way. This way, when we get it opened up, it'll stay opened up,
Mhm.
won't spill back in as much. Again. Little size one.
Yeah, another good reason for that. eh?
Yeah.
There any questions? Anybody else?
The other thing is we need to, still investigate options on use of, facilities. We'll take a look at that.
What, Mike?
Use of the facility, be offered them in the May to use other facilities like the high school.
Oh, okay.
Such as day, that kind of. thing. So
Yeah.
we'll take a look at those.
Yeah.
so are we not, well, okay, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's a matter of just scheduling, if we want to take a look.
Did you take lacrosse out of there? Or
Not
no?
yet, because it was just offset by the revenue, but I will, yeah,
Is that a program with Robin?
Yeah,
Okay.
that really doesn't change anything.
I guess Leslie had a question about it still being in there. Unfortunately, the school is, we kind of are a feeder program for the school, and the school doesn't have a lacrosse.
We sat with the AD years ago. The numbers determine on school budgets what athletic programs they're gonna have. They carry the line still, but there was no interest at the time, especially with the girls. Well, same with wrestling. They used to have wrestling, they dropped that line, so. Yes, we were running a program that for years was very successful, but we were feeding into a program that just didn't grow, unfortunately. So it's a good choice.
Somebody did approach me about, there's a couple Eagle Scouts that want to do stuff at the park. And so I said, hey, we used to have a great path that went in the back there,
Correct.
remember? That was fantastic and I'd love to have
Yeah,
that back.
Eagle Scouts did do
They
that.
He did, yeah.
They
It was
put
Where
perfect.
was this?
Up at the park in the woods
Up
there.
at the upper pavilion.
What's the building inspector in the village? What's his name?
There was a
It was his
path through
son.
there,
Yeah.
an Eagle Scout.
Oh, his son,
His son.
Nature walks and stuff.
Really?
It's just overgrown.
Ken.
And the block.
Yeah.
Ken would do it.
I had
It was
a.
Ben.
Just walk through.
Best
there
on
at night
Ben that did.
And shut that without a flashlight. Mr. Yeager. when-
So I'm really excited about the
Really?
prospect of the possibility of having that.
He made
That's
us walk
exciting.
that
Yeah.
trail
They put the trail down
without,
with
without a
chips,
flashlight.
all with
Yes.
chips,
Yeah. He did a great job on that.
But over the years, plus the bear.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, that's good.
But if they wanted
Yeah,
do something like that.
Absolutely.
There was a bluebird Eagle Scout one year that put a bluebird
We had one this year that never
king,
finished.
but another scout did that European kickball circle. I don't know what you call that.
I
But an
think
Eagle
it's called.
Scout did that too.
Does
Yes.
anything need painting or anything?
Yeah, everything.
They did the fence at St. Joseph's one time.
Oh, did they?
Jonathan wants to stay the fence.
Oh, up there at the top,
So
yeah.
the Eagle Scouts paint the fence white.
Yeah.
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 Is that enough for an Eagle Scout thing?
What, that wooden?
Oh,
fence?
yeah.
Yeah,
They did
leading
the-
up to
they
the
did
upper
fence
trail.
at St.
Oh, okay.
Joseph's.
Oh,
The upper
The
fields.
picket fence.
what about the fence around
They
that? That
started-
needs to be probably treated, doesn't it? The wood, huh?
Yeah, Jonathan was talking about doing it. up at the park.
You know, the wood fence on the upper
Actually, it
field.
was Kathleen's,
That's Precious
nephew.
Street. They-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jonathan said there's a certain paint you can use on those. He wants to paint it white.
On the one that's around the,
Yeah,
the soccer field?
And
White?
and the walk up.
No,
Say something like that too.
Yeah, walking up on the side, walking from park to park.
no, I mean a fence up top.
Right, there's a couple of different ones that we can do, but the one walking up to the park, It's specifically- and you know, around the circle of parking, you know, where people,
Yeah,
right around
Oh,
there,
that
he would like to
fencing,
do
yes.
that fencing there too. I don't know necessarily where the signs
UV
are.
Sign fence, yeah.
That
that's
would,
the one I was
No, not
talking
that
about.
one yet.
yeah.
Okay.
Cause that kind of looks like. Weathered a little bit.
Yeah, I think, I'm worried about, you know, letting it rotten. I don't know
So do you want it?
what?
Do you want to paint it or not?
I thought it should be,
staying.
stained.
Okay.
I think
Well, most of those get that black coat. You see the horse fences, they're all black.
Which is fine.
Yeah, and that's like a
That probably-
creosote black.
you
type
could
of
also
thing.
buy the, I use it. It's a white stain. It looks like a paint, but it's actually a stain. It's sort of.
Oh, yeah, like I do my fence all around my house. That's
That's not a paint, it's a stain.
That's stain. And it's, I tell you what. That thing, it's Benjamin Moore. That stuff lasts forever. That's unbelievable.
That's good.
Yeah,
And what about, either you or you asked me about this building out here? That maybe you could do that.
Yeah.
Jonathan's,
I already talked to the electrician. He's gonna try to get up here this week.
Oh, really?
Well, not do it,
Oh.
but look at it.
Do what?
electrify that building so Jonathan.
Just that.
We were gonna think of that shed. And so
So he
we
can
go to
move
the
it,
shed
put
up
his stuff
there.
in there?
Yeah, you have a light and maybe a little workbench in there or something, but,
Okay,
but we have the trenches is open,
right.
it's not blacktop, right?
Right,
So
right.
it would just be a matter of getting the little excavator and just,
Opening it up.
but it's already got power lines in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could even probably do it by hand. If we had to.
No, so Jonathan was looking at.
We get it done in like 2 days.
It was a lot nicer.
See that up?
Close.
Spread on the ballot.
There's
Joe.
Close.
Yeah, he's really excited to have it. So it's
It's better.
here, so we didn't have to.
I had a way.
Get out of the.
Take
Really had an opportunity to really organize that.
Chrissy can help me.
So hopefully,
The care-
Get out of the
He's
office.
on
Hour.
She does teach the sheds up at the rec. For school.
We'll take pictures.
Also the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the Jonathan actually used
The
to
real clerk.
Right.
use the number shed.
For community.
Offices.
And you need to put your finger.
Yep,
Black is in the building right now, so that we
Yeah.
do have like our holiday stuff.
yep.
We have to put that
Alright.
somewhere.
You all right, Lola? I'm done.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lois, please go home.
She's fading.
I'm fading.
Right, so are we?
No, you guys,
Did you have anything else?
Well,
Anything else?
no, did you wanna?
Yeah, you caught, see?
Yeah, yeah.
We make a good.
Yeah. I was like, no,
Anything else still has to meet with the-
I did.
You met with-
I met with him today and I asked, he said to me, oh, we'll have to come up with a rent. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know. Leslie Heaney told me that you guys were going to give this to us for free and that we would just have to play. Oh, I'll have to talk to Matthew about that. I'll write that down. So the deal is that unfortunately you can't lower those baskets, which is
No, but I think there is in check with either Brian Kelly or with Jason Zabadowski. I believe there are inserts that literally go into the existing hoop itself as a backboard, and then the hoop for the lower kids is below
well,
that.
I think that Jacob is looking into that for Duchess Day. He said he can't believe that it wasn't in there all this time. I mean, they had this kids the same age as
Okay.
us and, you know, they're trying to reach up to a high school. but-
Well, I think they used to have those, the ones that lowered in the other building.
Well, those are
Up on
crank
top.
lower.
Crank lower, yeah.
They
In
don't
the
have the
villages.
ability to crank lower those. Those are the real high
Right,
school.
I
swing.
understand that.
There are, I believe, because we used to use them at the Duke camp, inserts that go into the basket itself. Has a backboard on it and the basket ends up being a foot and a half.
This has
to 2
nothing to do
feet
with the
lower
budget. If you
in the stand.
wanna go.
For the lower kids,
That's what I thought.
so that would help. But yes, that's why I didn't get into detail,
Right,
because that could be a $50,000 jump.
Yeah.
Well, when I
Um,
talked to him originally, he goes, well, I know that there was $12,000 that you were working with the village, so we won't do that much. And I'm like, won't do that much. I only want it for basketball. But I did mention pickleball to him and he did say that we could have pickleball there on Sundays, but they don't have lines down on their gym.
How do you play pickleball there now? Oh, you mean up at there?
At the village, we do have lines.
Yeah. No, up there, they don't have anything. You don't want to put lines down on that court. That's a gorgeous court. No offense.
so
Maybe they want
I'll
to.
make a motion to appoint Kristen DiFiore as deputy town clerk.
I second them all.
Oh, there.
Aye.
Aye.
So next
So
meeting.
Danielle, we're good then? You
We're
got
good.
covered everything you need us to.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks, Danielle. Good job.
Thanks.
People, the feedback I get is, yeah, people love it.
Good.
Because it's energy happening.
amazing.
Next budget meeting, who do we bring in? We'll have a
We should, we
building assessment office.
Yeah.
should do the assessors, yeah.
And James,
Okay.
I don't even know if James
because that's
really
the two buildings.
has come before, has he? I don't know.
I don't think we ever did.
But is there a budget in that department?
We,
He has office supplies.
Okay.
He doesn't even.
So they
You know,
don't,
you-
He doesn't spend any money.
they don't have to put. they don't
I
have
had to buy
put
him a
bats
map
and
on
stuff
his
in.
desk.
Yeah,
that?
we like
He was
force it
wearing the force.
too much. We can buy you
Sorry.
pencils, Jade.
Share, you mean,
The force is so warm.
yeah.
have we done anything about advertising for that?
Not yet. I wasn't sure if it was completely official.
But he
Yeah, he
That's
resigned.
definitely,
effective December.
December.
December 30th.
December
Oh
31st, okay.
Did you not know that?
No.
Oh, Lois, yeah.
You didn't?
I heard some rumblings.
Well, it's not rumbling. It's
Right.
He sent us a letter.
I know.
Remember Joe said to you about the two secretary positions?
Mm-hmm,
That he checked with his daughter because his daughter didn't,
mm-hmm,
any communication. on that?
nothing.
Well, when you talk to him again about that,
Mm-hmm,
mention this because she may have
you might,
knowledge of something.
Yeah.
That we could get.
and we've had zero luck with the
Nice.
ZBA and planning board secretary on Indeed. It's,
Really?
people aren't really picking us. We're getting matched with people and I'm calling and emailing these people and they're kind of like, why are you emailing and calling me? And I'm like, oh, because our site's matched us.
Oh,
We've had 2 no-shows, so I don't know if we want to continue.
Are we up on NBA?
Not yet, no.
Because they have their website.
Yeah,
Oh,
and actually, that's on my list.
What's her face?
Yeah, that's, I actually have, it's on my list to call her, or, but I don't have her contact information.
Well,
Lisa Barrow.
Bella
I don't
Varela,
want to talk to her. Call,
that I've seen it call Buffy.
Yes.
Cause not exactly sure how we get actually on the
Because Buffy
website.
may have experience because of it being on the village board.
Well, she'll hook you up with somebody.
Yeah. So,
But James's position, we need to get that on like right away.
Right away.